Sir, it is on.
Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir,
it is.
start.
Yeah. So what I will do, briefly, I will introduce this fuzzy logic. And basically my aim is like, what is the concept of fuzzy linear programming? Because linear programming you have learned, and how that linear programming can be utilized in fuzzy. So fuzzy linear programming, FLP. Then multi-objective fuzzy linear programming. Okay. So this is one way. Second way, I think I will show you, I will demonstrate you the fuzzy toolbox through MATLAB. And maybe a small problems, if time permits, I will at least demonstrate you, because simultaneously you won't work because you may not be having the MATLAB. I will try to demonstrate it. Okay. And a real problem, um, that will also, I will actually show you that how a multi-objective problem can be solved with this uh, fuzzy linear programming. Okay. So let us see what things it is there. So in this fuzzy logic, it deals with mathematically with imprecise information. That is, information is not crisp. It is a imprecise information, which usually employed by humans. Like we employed it, we use it in day-to-day activities. Whatever information we share, we use, that is a imprecise. And how it is, we will see. It is a multi-valued logic. Okay. So if I say x1, and if I put x1 equal to 3, then this is a single valued. Okay. If I say x1, it will take any value between, say, 1 to 3. Okay. Any value between 1 to 3 means what it will take? It may be 1, 2, 3, or it may be 1, 1.1, 1.2, and so on up to 3. So if this is the case, that is what a multi-valued logic, and that extend the Boolean logic, in which there is true or false, yes or no, or 1 or 0, that usually employed in computer science. Okay. So normally, who is tall? If it is a question, then who is greater than 1.8 meter? So instead of that, we always say who is tall. Who weighs more than 100 kg? Instead of that, we say it is who is heavy, like that. Or a person is heavy and tall. So like that, we use the uh, statements in the day-to-day life. This Lotfi Zadeh in 1965, University of California, Berkeley. Actually, he is the beginner. He has introduced this first time the word fuzzy. Some of his statements are there, like people do not require precise numerical information input, and yet they are capable of highly adaptive control. That means the input requirement is not precise, but they are capable of highly adaptive control. Okay, so this is a very initial statement, which is a background for this fuzzy logic. This logic accepts noisy or imprecise input. Okay, now if you take example, like people do not require precise information, numerical information input. Okay, a very simple example, normally in our houses, it is like to invite someone for a cup of tea. Very simple example. How we invite? We invite our guest, our friends, maybe our relatives. Okay, how we invite? Please come to my house for a cup of tea in the morning. Okay, or at the most you will say early in the morning. Now it is 10:19. Okay, so I saw somebody has written good morning, because I know he want to uh, give the answer for this. At 8 o'clock also we say morning, so early morning or morning, right? So we invite someone, and the other person who is a guest, friend, relative, he also understand that I have to go to so and so's house for taking a tea, because he has invited. Okay, now based upon to whom you have invited, okay, so you will be comfortable that the person will come by which time, whether by 6 o'clock he will come, by 8 o'clock he will come, or by 10 o'clock he will come, or even by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock he will come. Okay, so you never invite them like, you please come to my house for a cup of tea at 7:38 a.m. Do you invite something like this? So that 7:38, it is a input, and this input, numerical information input, it is a precise. When you say 7:38, okay, when you suppose you invite like this 7:38, okay, so 7:38 a.m. you have invited. Suppose this person, he entered your house at 7:39. Are you going to give him a tea? Because as per logic, you have invited by 7:38. So you can have an answer that my friend or my guest or whatever it is, the time is over, because 7:38 is over. Now it is 7:39. Algorithm terminates and you won't get any tea. Okay, so these are the problems with this precise numerical input. Okay, but how you invite? You invite in the morning, and the other person also understands. So if the other person is very matured and maybe like 40 plus or 50 plus, he always think of what is the busyness in their house and by what time I should go. And normally maybe by 8:30 or so, maybe 9 o'clock, he will enter into the house. And the person who has invited, he is also comfortable that I have invited this person and is very nice person, and he will look to all problems of our house, and he will approximately, he will come between like 8:30 to 9, and everything will be ready before that guest comes to the house. Suppose if I invite a person maybe who is 60 plus or maybe 65 plus age. Now this person's morning starts at maybe 3:30 to 4 o'clock because of sleeping problems and all. And by 5:30 to 6 o'clock, he will be very uncomfortable, because always he says, always in his mind, it is that somebody has invited me and I have to go for a cup of tea. So he may knock your door by 6 o'clock only. If you invite maybe teenagers, say age group maybe from 18 to 22, okay, so by what time they will come for a cup of tea? You can use your chat box. By what time they will come to your house for taking a cup of tea? Age group between 18 to 22. No idea? Oh, very realistic answers I am getting, maybe 10:30 to 11. Even I was waiting the answer from 11 to 12 because their morning starts by 11 only. Their morning, it starts by 11. And then they will think of, oh, somebody has invited me to have a cup of tea. So if you look to all these issues, you will have so much of, values for a variable which is morning. So if morning is x1, then x1 will have values between 6 a.m. to maybe 11 a.m. It will have values between 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay. So anything in between this, it is a morning. Only you can classify within that early morning, maybe morning, maybe late morning, like that. Okay. So only the classes you can make it. So based upon the experts' input, because you have to ask so many experts that what is morning? Like I'm asking you and you are replying. Okay. Now this is a database. I'm asking you and you are answering. So this is a database. So you create the database for a variable and then you can have the membership function. Then you can have the membership function. So what is that membership function? That also we will see. So this is how a noisy information or imprecise information. Okay. So what the ZA has written, the people do not require precise numerical information input. They don't want this information. What they want, simply you invite that in the morning, please come and have a tea. And yet they are capable of highly adaptive control, because if you say that you come in tomorrow in the morning, then it is, they have understood that at what time I have to go to the somebody's house. That is what the capable of highly adaptive control. Okay. So this is how the input is. Such kind of input, it is called as a fuzzy. Okay. So the dictionary meaning of fuzzy is like not clear, noisy, unclear, distorted, and so on. And antonym of fuzzy is crisp. Crisp means, like I told you, 7:38 a.m. This is a crisp value. This is a crisp value. Between 10 to 11, it is a fuzzy value. Okay. So this is how a Lotfi ZA. In the 65, it is the beginning of the fuzzy logic. He has one principle of incompatibility. What is that? As the complexity of a system increases, our ability to make precise and yet significant descriptions about its behavior, that diminishes until a threshold, and beyond which the precision and significance become almost mutually exclusive characteristics. mutually exclusive. Precision and relevance. It is a mutually exclusive, not inclusive. This is what the principle of incompatibility, right? So as the complexity of the system increases, our ability to make precise yet significant descriptions about its behavior that diminishes until a threshold is reached, and beyond which, now this is the main thing, the precision and relevance that becomes almost mutually exclusive characteristics. And this is what the beginning of the fuzzy logic. When you say either yes or no for a problem, for a statement, then that is a crisp. This is a crisp thinking. Between yes and no, if there are so many answers, then it is a fuzzy thinking. Okay. So the crisp answers, normally they are either true or false, either yes or no. And the fuzzy answers may be like, may not be, maybe, absolutely, partially, and so on. So whenever such answers are there, they come under the category of a fuzzy answer. Now, if the question is like, we say somebody X person, this person is some X. So whether this person is honest, in the crisp logic, either yes, he is honest, or no, he is not honest. Okay, but in reality, whether this happens, whether the persons are honest, one set, and dishonest, that is another set. So whether we can categorize the people like this, the honest and dishonest? No. What is the reason? The reason is, to some extent, they may be honest. Like few answers or few category of people that may be very much honest. Maybe the next. Now, the score of very much honest, if you ask to 100, database, 100 database means now you are asking to the 100 people that whether X is honest. So out of 100, maybe 40 persons, they will give answers of very much honest. Okay, so maybe 20 will give like very honest. To some extent honest, maybe 10 persons will give. Dishonest, maybe 20% will give you answers. And these answers are based upon number of experts' opinion or the scores. That is what is all theory. It is based upon the expert's opinion. Because you have to take the expert's opinion, you have to take the expert score to categorize a variable. To categorize a variable. It is not like random. You have to categorize based upon the experts. Okay. Now there are certain fuzzy thinking, like if the interest rate is high, deficit is high, then there will be a recession. So what is this high? It's a fuzzy. Okay. If rush hour, then diminish the interval between buses, rush hour. That is a fuzzy. If the tire skids, then lose the brake a bit. So what is this lose the brake? How much force it should be in Newton. So if you say that 10 Newton, 5 Newton, 6 Newton, then no one will understand this. If you say lose the brake a little bit, everyone will understand. That is what the input requirement may not be precise, but output is crisp. Output is crisp. What is that crisp output? The tire will not skid. That is what the output. If the soil is very dry, then water it for a very long time. So very long means how much? Whether continuously for 1 month? No, we know. We have to only water it maybe for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day or so, depending upon the type of crop, type of soil and all. So now these are the logics. Aristotle logic is everything must either be or not be whether in the present or in the future. Aristotle is a philosopher from Greece. His philosophy is everything must either be or not be, whether in the present or in the future. So that means everything must be or not be in the present or future. That is in mathematics either 0 or 1, either yes or no. Okay. Now look to this statement made by Einstein. The statement is, as far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain. See, you read this statement up to this one statement and try to understand. And then you read from and. Then you read from and. Okay. So as far as laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain. If you say that laws of mathematics are referred to reality, they are not certain. And as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. Go back to your invitation. If you say this is invitation is certain, whether it is reality, it is not reality, because it is very difficult to manage this 7.38. You may enter in 7.39 or 7.40 or so. So reality is something different. Certainty is something different. Certainty is something different. Okay. So the strong base to that fuzzy logic, it has been given by this Einstein. What he says, as far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain. And as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. Okay, so this is the strong base for this fuzzy logic, and thereafter a lot of products, fuzzy logic based products, they have evolved. So maybe the washing machines are there, fuzzy controlled washing machines. So they have evolved after that. This is about the classification, that is happy people, small rooms, high temperature, faster cars and all. One more paradox is there, to be or not to be. Okay. So these statements I'm just giving to you to understand what is fuzzy, because at the end you should not become fuzzy. Okay, you should understand what is fuzzy, right? So a mathematician like Russell, while trying to formalize a mathematic, had difficulties due to paradox. Whose paradox? This is the liar's paradox. It is the liar's paradox. What is that liar's paradox? I am lying. Liar is saying I am lying. This is first part. Okay, a liar is saying I am lying. Now see these two statements. First statement, if the liar's statement was true, then he is lying when he says I am lying. And so he isn't. Therefore, his statement is false. What is that? If the liar's statement was true, then he is lying when he says I am lying. And so isn't. So his statement is false. So if liar's statement was true, then we can say that his statement is false. If this statement is false, that is what the second point, then he isn't lying when he tells us he is. And so his statement is true. And so his statement is true. So always there is something between the true and false. It is not exactly true. It is not exactly false. So it will take a set. It will take a lot of value, a multi-valued logic in between. So to understand this, you have to read again and again the statements. Okay. So the fuzzy system, like rules, some sets, operators, and it will have certain data management. Then fuzzifier is there, inference engine and defuzzifier. This is how a flow chart Lot of commercial products are available. Sendai Subway, washing machines, portable camcorders, vacuum cleaners, microwave ovens. Because what they do, simply you have to push the button. Like the washing machine is there. What is the cloth load? Maybe the low, medium, high. They won't specify 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, 4 kg. Because if they specify 1 kg, then how much is 1 kg? Exactly 1 kg. Then you have to wait. Instead of that, what they say, it is low, medium, high. That we understand that today's cloths are something low. Today's cloths are like medium. Today's cloths are high. High means that is, suppose a 6 kg machine is there or 8 kg machine is there. So initially, when demonstration that person, marketing person, he gives, that we know, like maybe the 4 pants, 4 shirts, maybe 2 saris and children cloths and something like that, that will become the 6 kgs. And based upon that, now we can categorize the low, medium and high. So just push the button that it is a low, it is the medium, it is the high. So this is nothing but a fuzzifying the inputs, fuzzifying the inputs. But output, that has to be crisp. Okay. Then anti-lock braking system, so that the vehicle should not skid. Nowadays it is available in mostly all the vehicles. Suspension, transmission. Then maybe in the medical field also it is being used, maybe for anesthesia control, fuzzy data analysis for cardio anesthesia and so on. So many products are available, air conditioning, electronic fuel injection and all. These are all products. Okay. So what is fuzzy logic then? It is a way to represent variation or imprecision in logic, a way to make use of natural language in logic. Okay. So like a speed, when you say speed, normally we say to our children's that please drive slowly. Okay. So what is the variable? Speed is the variable. But how we give the input? Please drive it slowly. And to whom we are giving the instruction, they also understand that we have to drive the vehicle slowly. Okay. So slow is a variable. Now, if you give this instruction to 60 plus person, he will understand I have to drive the vehicle slowly. Okay. If you give the instruction to 40 plus, they will also understand. If you give the instruction to 20 plus, they will also understand. If you give the instruction to 15 to 20, they will also understand. What will be the speeds now? Slow speed. Yes, can anybody say 60 plus? What should be the speed? What speed they have understood as it is a slow. A person is a driver. A person is a driver. Okay. So one answer it has come like 30. Second answer maybe 35 to 40. Even if you ask so many persons, and then if you take the average of that, it will be 20 to 30 kilometer per hour. Even 20 also, few people they drive the vehicle by 20 speed. 40 plus people, the slow speed, it may be 30 to 40. 20 plus, it may be 40 to 50. And what is the slow speed for 15 to 20? Anything. Age group of 15 to 20. What is slow? The slow may be even 50 to 60. Because if you ask them it is very fast, they say no, it is very slow. If you say that it is very fast, they say no, it is very slow. But everyone has understood the variable slow. So natural language logic that can be used, approximate reasoning. So Like statements are if sunny and warm, I will drive fast. I will drive fast. So this is what a logic. The linguistic variables like temperature, that will have a set of freezing, cool, warm, and hot. Cloud cover, it is overcast, partly cloudy, sunny. Speed, slow, fast. These are the variables. These are the linguistic variables. Okay. So what is the crisp variable? X equal to this value is a crisp, which represent a precise quantity. 0 to 1. Okay. Crisp value 0, 1. It's a crisp value. A proposition is either true or false. A conjunction B is C. So some Richard King is there or name is there. Whether he is greedy. If he's greedy, then evil. So Richard is greedy. If Richard is greedy, then evil. So what is the crisp logic? This Richard, it is either greedy or he isn't. Or he isn't. Okay. So in the real life, it doesn't happen like that. Because a person, if he's not greedy, then he may be too somewhat greedy. No? So the greedy Richard will have either 0 or 1. Either he is greedy or he isn't. Okay. What is fuzzy now? What if Richard is only somewhat greedy? And these examples will find much more in reality. Much more. Okay. A fuzzy set can represent the degree to which a quantity is possessed. To somewhat means what? What is that quantity? So the fuzzy set, they have values in the range of 0 to 1. If I say greedy Richard is 0.7, means I'm sure that, how much I'm sure? 70% I'm sure that the Richard is greedy. So that is what the meaning of 0.7. Okay. Then how evil is Richard? That we can find it. So these are the two different sets. This is a crisp set and this one is fuzzy set. Okay. So temperature very low. So very low, it may be from x-axis is temperature. So very low, you can take like -5 degrees to 3 degrees. Low temperature, you can take 3 to 10. Medium, you can take 10 to maybe 30. 30 to 40, high temperature, and greater than 40, very high temperature. Okay. Now, -5 degrees centigrade to 3 degrees centigrade, any value, it may be -5, -4, -3, -2, 1, 2, and 3. For all, we are calling it is as very low with the same precision. On y-axis, it is 0 to 1. This is called as mu of x, membership grade. Membership grade. So 1 is nothing but 100%. My level of satisfaction, my membership grade, it is 1. 1 means 100%. So I'm 100% sure that -5 degrees centigrade is very low temperature. But at the same time, 3 degrees centigrade is also very low. 3 degrees centigrade also very low. So for any value between -5 to 3, my confidence is 100%. So this is how a limitation to the crisp logic. Now same thing if I take here, so from -3 to this value, it may be 0 degree. So I'm sure that 0 degree centigrade is a very low. -1, -2, -3, that is very low. And my level of satisfaction, when I give this answer that it is very low, my level of satisfaction is 1. 1 means it is 100%. So that level of satisfaction is termed as lambda. So this mu of x is nothing but lambda. Okay. So when I go beyond this, now up to 3 degrees centigrade, 3 degrees centigrade, same scale I am taking. Now, if I just put it here, the two values will come at 3 degrees centigrade. What is that? One is low, okay, and other is very low. So wherever they cut to this fuzzy set, fuzzy membership function. That means this is the monotonously decreasing, this is the trapezoidal, this is trapezoidal. Okay, at the end it is monotonously increasing. So this is a monotonously increasing. This is decreasing membership function. In between that, a trapezoidal membership function. Okay. Now wherever at 3 degree it cuts, so it cuts very low here and low at this. See what is its value on y-axis. So this may be 0.5 means this is 0.4, and this one it may be 0.6. Okay, so 3 degrees centigrade, to say it is very low, my level of satisfaction is only 0.4. That means I'm 40% sure that temperature is very low, and simultaneously I am 60% sure that the temperature is low. This is how a fuzziness it comes. For any value, suppose 1 degree centigrade, just take it on y-axis and see what these membership grades are. When you go for this 1 degree centigrade, at 1 degree centigrade, when you say temperature is low, your confidence is only 0.1, that means 10%. So I'm 10% sure that the temperature is low. Whereas you go to the this upper one, that is very low membership function, this may be 0.8. I'm 80% sure that temperature is very low. So 1 degree centigrade, 10% low, and 80%, it may be a very low. So like this, you can play in the real sense. You can play in the real sense. Okay. So this is how the logic. So 3 to 10 low, 10 to 30 medium. So you don't have any discrimination between 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 up to 30. All that it comes under medium. Whereas same thing, if you go here, you will find at least 2 answers. And based upon your level of satisfaction, that whenever I give answer, what is my level of satisfaction? Whether I'm satisfied with that answer. If I'm satisfied with that answer, then how much I have satisfied? What is my satisfaction level? So this membership grade y-axis, this gives you a satisfaction level. Okay. So fuzzy linguistic variables like temperature is freezing, cool, warm, and hot. Okay. So what is the temperature? It is warm. How warm is it? Now go to this membership function. Okay. So this is the membership function. The same thing, it is borrowed from 10 to 110. Now this is in degree Fahrenheit. Okay. So temperature set, freezing, cool, warm, and hot. Degree of truthness, or a membership, that is what the mu of x. So highest value is 1. That means 100%. My truthness, degree of truthness is 1, means 100%. Or my level of satisfaction for the answers, 100%. Okay, or the membership grade. These are all terminologies for membership grades. Okay, so any value you can select in between. Say like this, how cool is 36 degree Fahrenheit. How cool is 36 degree Fahrenheit? What are answers? Look here. 30% cool, 70% freezing. Okay. So this is how the advantage of fuzzy logic. Okay. So there are certain connections like fuzzy conjunction and disjunction. These two we have to use. One is the AND operator and other is OR operator. Okay. So how do we use these fuzzy membership functions in predicate logic? Okay. So this is the disjunction. So whenever disjunction is there, the quality is maximum. Quality is maximum. Conjunction, the quality is minimum. Okay. So A, disjunction, B, you have to take max. Okay. So this is the OR operator and conjunction is the AND operator. So A or B. So maximum of A or B. Okay. So quality C is the disjunction of quality A and B, like this. Okay. So what is this? A, this is the membership function, triangular membership function. B, this is triangular membership function. Okay. So 0.375, it is the membership grade for A for a particular input, and for B for a particular input, the membership grade is 0.75. Among this A and B, the quality C, it is based upon this A and B. So A disjunction of B is the quality C. But what is that? We take it max. Okay, so max is 0.75. So C membership grade is 0.75. Okay, same thing here, minimum. In case of conjunction of quality A and B. So A conjunction B, the quality is C, which is minimum. So minimum is this 0.375. So like this, we have to take it. So this A conjunction B, you calculate. A is 0.4 and B is 20. So 0.4 corresponding to 0.4, membership grade is 0.7, corresponding to 20, it is 0.9. So minimum is 0.7 because it is conjunction, fuzzy conjunction. Okay. So how fast I am going to drive today? Okay, a speed control example is there. For this, what is required? One is the temperature and other is the cloud cover. So temperature membership function is this. Cloud cover membership function is this. In cloud cover, sunny, partly cloudy and overcast. In temperature, freezing, cool, warm and hot. Speed, slow and fast. Okay, this is the output. These two are the input. Okay, so input you have to convert into fuzzy membership function. Output also, it is a membership function, monotonously decreasing and monotonously increasing. Okay, so the rules may be like this. If it is sunny and warm, drive fast. If it is cloudy and cool, drive slow. Okay, so like this, a combination you have to take it. So driving speed is combination of output of these rules. So what is the output? We will see. Temperature, suppose how fast will I go if it is 65 degree Fahrenheit temperature, 25% cloud cover. Okay, so this 65 degree cloud cover, 65 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So somewhere here, what are the membership grades? This is cool. Cool is 0.4. Warm is, this is warm, 0.7. Okay. And 25% cloud cover, this is 25%. This is 0.2, that is partly cloudy. Sunny, it is 0.8. Okay. So first rule is, if it is sunny and warm, this is and. Dry fast. So sunny, this one, 0.8. Warm, 0.7. So 0.8, 0.7. And operator, therefore minimum, 0.7. So output is your 0.7. So fast is 0.7. 0.7 membership grade. If it is cloudy and cool, cloudy is 0.2 from previous figure, and cool 0.4. So minimum is quality 0.2. So slow is 0.2 membership grade. Okay. Now speed, it is 20% slow, 70% fast. Now what you have to do? You have to take the centroid of this membership function, where the membership grade is 100%. So membership grade is 100% is here and here. So you take centroid of this. Okay. So weighted mean we are taking. What is that weighted mean? 0.2, that is slow. So slow, 100% membership grade is corresponding to 25. Okay. So that is why this 25 into 0.2, then 0.7, that is fast, multiplied by what is the membership grade 100%, it is corresponding to this 75. This. Okay. So 0.7 into 75. Being it is weighted divided by summation of that membership grade, 0.7 plus 0.2, that is 0.9. So it comes out to be 63.8 kilometer per hour. So your output at the end, it is crisp. What are inputs? Inputs are fuzzy. So inputs are fuzzy and output, it is crisp. Okay. So it is not that we are using a fuzzy information and the output is also fuzzy. No, it is the output is the crisp, a single value it will give you. Based upon all this situation, your speed has to be 63.8 kilometer per hour. Okay. So the same logic it is used in these fully automatic washing machines, in which the automated selection of these washing cycles, washing time, it is there. And the inputs are like laundry quantity, laundry softness, that is quality. Okay. And based upon that, this machine, it works. Okay. So for that also, what you have to do, you have to set out these membership functions. So this laundry softness, this is the laundry quantity, these are the washing cycles. So much of rules you can make it. That is the laundry softness, you can divide into soft, normal hard, and hard. Laundry quantity, the small, medium, large. Okay. And washing cycles, delicate, light, normal. Now, how this table we prepare? This table we prepare based upon the experts' knowledge. Okay. So this should not be based upon a random one. Okay. So that is based upon the experts' knowledge. And this rule base, we can use it in fuzzy logic. Okay. This is how a graphical representation is there. Now, these are a membership functions, mathematical equation. So different types of membership functions. Triangular, this is triangular. This is mu of x, that is membership grade from 0 to 1. 1 means apex. Okay. alpha and delta, left spread and right spread. At the apex, it is beta. So alpha, beta, and delta, these values, we should have it for a input variable. And based upon that, if x is less than alpha, then your membership grade is 0. If x is greater than delta, membership grade is 0. Look here, alpha less than alpha is 0, greater than delta is also 0. Okay, and the x lies between alpha and beta, beta and delta. Alpha and beta, that means this. Beta and delta is this. Okay. Similarly, this is a trapezoidal membership function. This one is Gaussian. This is bell-shaped. This is sigmoidal. This is S-shaped. Pi 1 membership, Pi 2 membership, and so on. Okay. So this is how a very preliminary information about the fuzzy logic, then membership function, how the input membership functions, we use it as a fuzzy knowledge or a vague knowledge or imprecise knowledge. Okay, and how we defuzzify it based upon the centroidal method, or so many other defuzzification methods are there. And at the end, you find out the CRISP logic and some mathematical equations for membership functions. The shape of membership function, that depends upon what is the variable, how variable it behaves. The best one is like if you have 100 answers for that variable. Just now in the morning, in the beginning of this lecture, what we have, the variable morning, and I ask simply what is morning. So you have given some 5-10 answers. Same thing for speed, and so you have given 5-10 answers. Okay, these all answers you keep it and just draw a graph. Only you have to ask that whatever answer you are giving, to what extent you are sure. That is, what is your level of satisfaction. Okay, so an answer and its level of satisfaction. If you prepare a graph, that graph is nothing but this membership function, and then see which geometrical shape it fits to that data set. Okay, so like that you have to decide whether you should go with a triangular membership function or with a trapezoidal membership function or sigmoidal or any else. Okay, so these things are required in fuzzy. Okay, so now we will shift to this fuzzy linear programming. A very simple linear programming problem I will take so that you can understand it. Yeah, in the introductory part, if you have any question, you just write in chat box so that at the end I will read it. Actually, I should thank my students to help me for preparing all these slides and all. I think one of such student is attending this class also, Dr. Suman Chowdhury. He's also expert in this fuzzy linear programming and fuzzy. My other two students are there. One is Dr. Gurav, JB Gurav, and Dr. R.U. Kamotkar. So they're all my students, PhD students, and they also work in this. Most of my publications there with these people. That publication also I will try to share on WhatsApp group. So normally I always thank them in the lectures because they are the I mean backbone, because whatever things are there, they help me for preparation. Okay, now this is a LP model which you already now aware it. That is maximize a function which is CJXJ. Cj is the cost coefficient, Xj is the variable or decision variable. Aij, it is a technological coefficient. Xj, already we have written it is a variable, and Bi, now this cap you don't consider, Bi, it is the resource. Okay. Now, if all are deterministic, that is crisp. That means this is a simple LP problem. Okay. Now, if we make one of the resource or technological or cost as fuzzy, if suppose that information is imprecise, suppose a resource is there. Okay, resource may be money, resource may be water availability, resource may be land availability, anything, time, labor, whatever availabilities are there, resources. If that resources, they are, instead of a single value, if they have some multiple values between, they will have some lower bound and they will have some upper bound. They will have some lower bound and they will have some upper bound. And upper bound, it is the lower bound plus some increment. Suppose a resource is water availability in million cubic meter. How much available? Maybe 100 million cubic meter. If I say 100 million cubic meter is lower bound. Okay, so lower bound means Bi lower. Then Bi upper, that means the water availability may be up to 110 million cubic meter. Because you cannot exactly say that the availability will be exactly 100, but you can say that between 100 to 110. When you say between 100 to 110, that means 100 is a lower bound, 110 is the upper bound. So upper bound is 100 plus 10. So this 10 is nothing but this Bi. So this 100 is nothing but Bi lower. So like this is the Bi upper. So this resource, at the top of it, this cap is taken. So in fuzzy, what we say is Bi cap, that means it is a fuzzy resource. When simply Bi, it is a only resource. Okay, so fuzzy resource or resource, right? And Xj variable greater than or equal to 0, that is what is requirement of linear programming. Okay, so in short, this is a LP model. Okay, if we make this Bi as fuzzy, if you make Bi as fuzzy, then this becomes fuzzy linear programming. Fuzzy linear programming. Okay, so what we do this? The formulation with the lower bound of resources. Now, what are the steps in FLP? First of all, you consider the lower bound. So maximize Z is equal to Cj Xj subjected to Aij Xj less than or equal to Bi lower. This is Bi lower, because for lower bounds we are taking. And solve the problem. So whatever the test problem you have solved, in a similar way, a test problem you can solve it to understand this fuzzy linear programming. Okay, so this is first step. Okay, now second step is you formulate the problem with respect to the upper bounds. So maximize Z is equal to Cx or Cjxj subjected to Aij Xj less than or equal to Bi. Now the Bi is Bi upper. That was 110. So this is 100 Bi lower, and this is 110. And do the optimization. Maybe you can go with the simplex method or revise simplex method, or you can use the Lingo platform to write the code and solve it. Okay. Then the membership function for objective function Z and the resources. So this is the membership function for objective function. This is the membership function for the resources. Okay. Now for this, this one. The monotonously decreasing membership function, it is taken. This is for the resources. Okay. So if I draw it here, like this. So this is 1, this is 0, this is Z min, this is Z max, and in between that it is Z, and corresponding to that mu of x. Mu of x. It is written here GZX, but mu of x. Okay. So when you take it max minus min, that is corresponding to the highest membership grade. And this one, that means Z max, it is greater than Cx. Okay. So Z greater than or equal to Z max. Okay. So for that, the membership grade is 1. In between that, 0 to 1. And anything less than Z min, it is the 0. So Z, it is nothing but the objective function. Z is the objective function. Now from the similarity of this triangle, this is 1 and second is this triangle. So first triangle is this and second triangle is total. Based upon that, you can write an equation of lambda. Lambda means this mu x. So mu x, that is lambda. Mu x is nothing but that is lambda based upon the similarities of triangle. So Z minus Z min divided by Z max minus Z min. So Z minus Z min is corresponding to lambda, and Z max minus Z min is corresponding to 1. So like this, with this similar triangle, you can write this equation. This one. So Cx is nothing but it is Z. So Z minus Z min, Z max minus Z min greater than or equal to lambda. So this is for the objective function. Now for resources, it will be Aij xj minus lower bound divided by upper bound minus lower bound here. Now when you want to write it greater than bi upper minus Aij xj, bi upper minus bi lower, and all xj's greater than 0. Okay, so this is the modified LP formulation. So up to these two, this is a simple LP formulation for lower bound. This is simple LP formulation for upper bound. Okay. From lower bound and upper bound, we are gathering the information of max and min values, objective function values, and then we are putting into this equation. And what is our objective function now? Objective function is level of satisfaction. Level of satisfaction, and that we are maximizing. So what is your maximized level of satisfaction? Subjected to the objective function fuzzification and the resources fuzzification. And whatever original constraints are there, that original constraints we have to keep it. Okay, so this is how a formulation of a fuzzy linear programming. Because where is the fuzziness? Fuzziness is here. That is based upon this membership values. Okay, so to understand the same thing, we'll take this as a numerical example. Maximize a function z is equal to 0.5 x1 plus 0.2 x2, subjected to x1 plus x2 less than 300 to 400. That means bi lower and bi upper. Then 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 400 to 500. This is also bi lower, this is bi upper. That means the resources, they are what we have taken, the resources are fuzzy. Instead of a single value, it will take values between 300 to 400. And this is 400 to 500. Okay, so for this, now the two different LP models you have to solve. One is with the lower bound, and other is with the upper bound. Okay, look here, 400 and 500. That means upper bound. This is maximize 0.5 x1 plus 0.2 x2, subjected to the constraint less than 400, less than 500. So less than 400 and less than 500 means this upper bound. So this is for the upper bound. You write this model as a LP model. Okay, you are maximizing and the answer, the same thing. If you do it in Lingo, you will get the answer. The objective function value is 125, x1 is 250, x2 is 0. Objective function is 125, x1 is 250, and x2 is 0. Okay. Now, second time again you have to solve the LP model with the lower bounds. That means less than 300, less than 400. This less than 300, less than 400. And once again you maximize this in Lingo, because this is the LP model. Your answer will be z is equal to 100, x1 is 200, and x2 is 0. Now for both this problem, if you see the value of objective function, now objective function, when it is lower bound, z is equal to 100. That means a lower value you are getting. When it is upper bound, you are getting 125. That means higher value you are taking. Okay. So when you maximize the upper bound, you are getting the maximum value. Lower bound, the lower value. Okay. So the max and min, you are getting there, z max, z min. This is the bi lower 400 for first constraint. Just a minute. For first constraint, 400 to 500. 400 to 500. No, this is for the second constraint. 400 to 500. This is not first, it is second. Okay. So for second constraint, lower is 400, higher is 500. Okay. So when it is 400 resources, when the 400 resources are there, okay, my membership grade is 100%. 1. Okay. Now, more than this resource, there may be a chance up to 500. There may be a chance up to 500. Okay. So the level of satisfaction, it drops down. Level of satisfaction, it drops down. So it is a monotonously decreasing. Monotonously decreasing. Okay. So that is how it is written. So bi upper minus cjxj divided by upper minus lower. So this is what a z or a bi corresponding to bi. What is this membership grade? Same thing for this. This is for second. So this will be for first. It is correct. 500 and 600. No, something wrongly written. Not 500 and 600. It is 300 and 400. Yeah, 300 and 400. You just take it 300 and 400. Okay. So that is for the lower bound. Okay. So after two models we have solved. The first we have solved for, say, maximization of upper bound. Then second is maximization of lower bound. Okay. And third, it is maximization of lambda. That is the level of satisfaction. Okay. So when you do this, what you have to do, this is the Z. Okay. Minus, what is this? Z min. This is Z max minus Z min. So Z minus Z min divided by Z max minus Z min. That is what how we have taken in the theory. Greater than or equal to lambda. Okay. The same thing. This is the BI lower. This is the BI upper. And you write down this. And these all equations, how they are coming? They are formulated based upon the similarity of triangles. Okay. And then you maximize this with the same LP, your Lingo platform. And you will get the answers as lambda comes out to be 0.5 satisfaction level, and a optimal solution is 112.5. X1 is 225. X2 is 0. So what is happening with this? When the lower bounds are maximized, answer is, upper bound, by taking upper bound of resources, when the problem is solved, the objective function, it was 125. When we have taken lower bound and we have maximized, the objective function is 100. So 125, 100. Then when we have simultaneously a compromise solution we have taken, then the optimal, objective function, it has comes out to be 112.5, and the level of satisfaction is 0.5. So in short, this solution, it is called as the compromise solution. If you are giving priority to one value, in case of the two objectives, suppose a one objective you are trying to maximize, the second objective, it remains at the lower level. In the second case, when this priority is given to second, and if you maximize it, the first will drop down. That is what the 100 and 125, these two values we got it. Okay. So if your priority to whom you are giving, that if you maximize, it will have the highest value. The second will have lowest value, and this can be repeated. So if you are giving the equal priority, normally in case of multi-objective fuzzy linear programming that we do it, in multi-objective fuzzy linear programming, if you are giving same priority, that means if you are optimizing simultaneously both the objectives, then from 0 level, they will try to reach to the maximum. Okay. But they won't go to the maximum. Somewhere they will remain. So where they remain is nothing but the level of satisfaction. So that level of satisfaction, in this case, it is 0.5. Never they will reach to 100%. If they are reaching to 100%, means there is nothing like a compromise solution, because your resources are plenty. And even when resources are plenty, there is no question of any optimization, because whatever required, you are ready to give. So no optimization will play in such cases. So this is how we can give a lot of different solutions with the help of fuzzy logic. The crisp logic, only one solution is there. This is the one solution. When you go with fuzzy logic, now you have a different solution. Again, compromise solution is there. And then you check that so many solutions are with us as a decision maker, which solution is more appropriate. Which solution is more appropriate. Okay. So this is how a fuzzy linear programming, right? So the same concept we can apply for others also, like this is a fuzzification of AIJ. Now, very fast I will go. Only slides I can show you. That means now what we are doing, we are fuzzifying this AIJ. Okay. So when you fuzzify this AIJ, this will be the membership grid. That is AIJ plus DIJ minus X by DIJ. Okay. And the same thing, the loose constraint. First of all, you maximize, then strict constraint, then you maximize. Strict means the upper bound. You maximize it. Okay. And this formulation of the compromise solution that you incorporate for objective function as well as the constraints, and then formulate this maximize lambda with the help of one is the objective function fuzzification and the AIJ fuzzification. Okay. And the same thing, one numerical example is taken, that AIJ, how it is taken, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, and then it is being solved. Okay. So CRISP 1, this CRISP 2, then fuzzified, and these are the answers. So here the lambda, it comes out to be a 0.39. Okay. So this is for AIJ and BI simultaneously. Now the complexity, it is increasing. Even in the previous example only, the formulation, it has become a non-linear. Okay. So this is the simultaneous fuzzification of BI and AI. For this also, these are this BI, it is fuzzy, AIJ, it is fuzzy, and then formulate the problem and solve it. Okay. Then BI, AIJ, and CJ. Simultaneously, you take it as fuzzy, and then you have to solve it for each. This is the membership function for each parameter. And you have to solve this, maximize lambda. Okay. So you will find for a irrigation planning problem or for reservoir operation problem, you will find all these type of formulations in our publications. So few publication you will find in Springer's Water Resource Management, and a few in Elsevier's Journal of Hydro Environment Research. Then H2 Open Journal is there. Journal of Water Resource Systems, Journal of Water Resource Protection is there. JAST journal is also there. So many publications you will find which include this fuzzification in all the form. Okay. So this is how the second fuzzy linear programming. And one of the formulation, if you just want to see, this is how a formulation for a reservoir operation. Okay, multi-objective, multi-reservoir optimization in fuzzy environment for river sub-basin development and management. This is why fuzzy, we have introduced which parameters are fuzzy, and fuzzy, what can be taken? This fuzzy objectives, that means this one is Z. Z to be taken as fuzzy. This is BI to be taken as fuzzy. This is AIJ to be taken as fuzzy. This is BI and AIJ. This is Z, BI, AIJ. Objective Resource Technological. And even here, Z, BI, AIJ, and even XJ also we have taken. Rare possibilities, but all possibilities we have taken it. And the models are formulated. This is what a theoretical background. Okay. And triangular membership function is also taken. These are details of the reservoirs. This is schematic diagram of all reservoirs and hydropower stations. It's a multi-reservoir system. This is all data. Then this is the model like objective function. What you write like maximize a function Z is equal to summation of Cj xj. J is equal to 1 to n. How you write it? The same thing. This is for irrigation. This is for hydropower production in kilowatt hour. Okay. This is objective function. So the two objectives, that is why it is a multi-objective, and these are all constraints. Every constraint, that is nothing but 48 constraints. One line means it is 48 lines. Okay, this is regarding turbine, this is regarding irrigation, this is regarding storage, this is regarding hydrologic continuity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reservoirs. Okay, and how uncertainty it has played and what kind of uncertainty it is being taken. So that is all it is being written here. How much uncertainty be incorporated in different maybe resources or technological coefficient or even the cost coefficient. And then, of course, instead of LP, here the GP, I mean genetic algorithm is used. Okay, flow chart. These are the genetic algorithm parameters. Yeah, this one. With all this, what is happening? Okay, so the maximization of irrigation, that means Z1, it is maximized. And all kind of solution, I got it. Then maximization of hydropower, that means maximize second objective. Again, a solution space, a solution, I have it, which can be implemented, Then fuzzified this objective function. Okay, fuzzified this objective function. This is for irrigation, this is for hydropower membership function, and then maximize lambda subjected to these constraints. One is for irrigation fuzzification, hydropower fuzzification, and all original constraints. And then I got this 0.60 as level of satisfaction, and one more solution space I got it for all reservoirs, all month. See how the result is: R1, R2, R3, R4, and this June, July, August, September, and all. In this, the irrigation, the turbine, that is power, the power produced, downstream requirement, then head over the turbine, storage, overflow, water supply, losses, and all. Okay, so this is how the advantage of your multi-objective fuzzy linear programming or simply fuzzy linear programming. So this publication is there in Springer's water resource management, that actually you should see. So whatever these tables, very long tables you have seen, that has been modeled within this three-dimensional space. And how to read this also, it is given in that paper. You can read it so that this figure can be read nicely. Okay, this is the real application. And in introduction, whatever I have shown you regarding the rules, fuzzy rules. Okay, so actually these fuzzy rules can be taken here. I don't know which problem is. Yeah, single reservoir operation, that we will take. In MATLAB, you can take these inputs as inflow, then storage, then output as irrigation releases. And you have to construct this for inflow, the membership function. A triangular membership function is taken. Okay. Then for storage also, a membership function is defined. And what is the range of this storage? This you can put it here. And what is the display range? Being it is a Jayakwadi reservoir, its capacity we have taken right from 0 to 2909. So that display we have taken so that it will display on this um, membership function. Same thing, this is the inflow. The inflows around 600 display range is there based upon the data available. Then we have taken, if you look to this inflow also, what inflows we have taken, it is very low, low, medium, high, and very high. Okay, for each and every thing we have defined it. What is meant by very low, what is low, what is medium, what is high, and what is very high. Okay, same thing for storages, low, medium, high, and very high. For irrigation releases, we have taken very low, low, low to medium, medium, medium to high, high, very high, and very, very high. For all this, the display range as well as the parameters we have considered. Okay, and then the rules are prepared that when inflow is this, what is the if storage is this, and what are the irrigation releases. Okay, so here we are getting the irrigation releases. When inflow is 470, storage is this, then the releases are this. This is the output. These two are the inputs. Okay, and the facility is there. This vertical red line, this you can hold it and you can change it. So just change the inflows, change the storages, see what are the irrigation releases. Okay, this is the solution surface, three-dimensional surface. You can see it. Okay, so this is how we can do it with the help of MATLAB and the fuzzy if-then rules. Because the fuzzy problems can be solved with either the rule base. It is called as the fuzzy if-then. Okay, the two models are there, the Sugino model and Mamdani model. Okay. So it might be a repetition, those who are working in fuzzy, but for others, at least a feel will be there, what is going on. Yeah, this is what I have shown you on PowerPoint. This is the inflow. And the very low, then low. When it is low, it is between 40, 140, 220. When it is medium, it is 180, 270, 340. So how we take these values for this triangular membership function, that is entirely based upon a expertization. That means basically, first of all, those who are using, you should be expert and you should have some discussion with other experts as well, so that a perfect membership function you can construct. Your accuracy, that will be based upon how best a membership function you are taking and how best you are classifying the membership function and you are giving the parameters. Okay. So similarly for high, it is 300, 400 and 500 is taken. Okay. So for very high, this is one. Okay. Then for very high and very low, a sigmoidal membership function is taken because it is most of the time it's undefined. And for this, the triangular membership function in between. Same thing with the storages. So the storages, this 800 to 1800. And the last one, it is 2909, which is the capacity of the reservoir. Capacity of the reservoir. So right from 0, for this, what we have taken, it is 600 to 850. Because around 700 or so, the dead storage capacity is there. And 2909, it is the, the gross capacity of reservoir. Okay. So based upon that, the entire formulations, they have been done. For irrigation releases also, the membership function is defined here, very low to this very, very high. And anything, if you take, this is based upon the irrigation requirement. So I should have a data of irrigation requirement for a project. And what is requirement? What is requirement? When we can say it is low, when we can say it is very low, when we can say it is medium, high, very high, and so on. Okay. So whether if I release the very low water, then whether the crop sustains. Normally this low requirement, very low requirement, it is in the rainy season, it is there. Otherwise it is medium, medium to high, high. That is there in the winter season and the summer season. So that understanding, the background of this problem, the understanding, that should be essential. Okay. So based upon this, these are different rules which are constructed here. Okay. So rules are nothing but between, if inflow is very low, if storage is low, then the irrigation release is very low. So like this, a combination you have to take it. And this combination should be the realistic combination. Only the permutations and combination, that doesn't work. So you should be the expert. That is what I initially mentioned. For designing membership function and for rules, you should be an expert in this area. Then only you can go ahead with this. Okay. Then I use that conjunction and disjunction. Okay. And or operator. It is here, the connection. So this is and operator and this is or operator. Okay. So here it is, and operator and or operator. Right. So few and operators I have taken, and I think one or two or operators also it is taken in this. Okay. So you can delete rule, you can add rule, you can change rule. So many facilities are there, right? And this is what a surface is. Solution surface. Okay, so like this, you have to work in this fuzzy if-then rules. If you see here, it is written Mamdani. So this uses the Mamdani rule, Mamdani model. Okay. Yeah, now you can ask any questions. Now these results you can export to workspace, you can export to file also. You can print. Here it is written Mamdani and Sugino models. Yes, this is all about the today's presentation.
Sir, we have a question.
Yeah.
How do we interconnect different reservoirs while working in mixed multi-reservoir system?
So please repeat it.
How do we interconnect different reservoirs while working in mixed multi-reservoir system?
Yeah. No, in multi-reservoir system, the interconnection is like maybe in a parallel or in a series. Basically, if your reservoirs in series or reservoirs in parallel, your mathematical model that changes. Okay, so that is what I have given the one model I have shown actually. This one. So this say release for power Ij, it is nothing but release for power in ith reservoir and jth month. So if I say Ri, Rp release for power in the first reservoir first month, first reservoir second month, first reservoir 12 month. Okay, then it comes second reservoir first month, second reservoir second month, second reservoir 12th month, then third reservoir first month, third reservoir second month, and so on. It will go up to fourth reservoir 12 month. So all these connections are there here in single implicit formulation. So if you write it explicitly, I told you how many equations it will be. 48 equations will be there for this single equation. So this connection we have to consider based upon our schematic representation of the reservoir. So what is this schematic representation? This is reservoir 1. Okay. And reservoir 2, reservoir 3, reservoir 4, and reservoir 5. So what is happening here? That is, what are the inputs to this reservoir and what are the outflows from the reservoir? So that you have to mention, and then you start writing your mathematical equation. So that gives you a connections between the reservoirs. Like this water, it will come into the reservoir 5. From reservoir 1, the excess water will go into the Godavari river. From reservoir 1, water will go to this turbine. The water will go to the second reservoir, that is a Jayakwadi project stage 2 or Mazalgaon reservoir. From that, all remaining water will go again to the Godavari, because this is another river, R2, I mean Sindhafana river. This is a Godavari river. This is the Purna river. So 3 different rivers are there. Okay, so you have to understand the system first and then try to make it in a mathematical model, and then think of linear dynamic or any other technique to solve it. Yes, any other question?
Yes, sir. How can we apply genetic algorithm and fuzzy logic to the same network?
You have to optimize by genetic algorithm, and you have to fuzzify the variables, input variables, or wherever there is a possibility of fuzzification. It is not necessary that you should fuzzify each and every variable. You have to see that which variables are imprecise, uncertain. That variable you have to identify, and you make it fuzzification of that. And then the optimization that can be solved with the genetic algorithm. And whatever I have shown you one, I mean the real example, that is a hybrid modeling, fuzzy genetic modeling. One question I see, how to select membership functions. Membership functions, basically, first of all, you have to design it based upon experts' opinion and experts' answers to a particular variable. So you, prepare it on the graph paper, that what is the shape, what shape it is coming, whether it is near to the like monotonously increasing, decreasing, or it is very near to the triangular or trapezoidal, and so on. So whatever the geometrical shape it appears, you take that geometrical shape as a membership function. Yes, any other question in the chat box?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, good. One, what is that? Fuzzification can be used all type of programming, linear, non-linear, dynamic. Yeah, basically whatever your variable is, if your variable is imprecise, if your variable is vague, if your variable is uncertain, okay, see, every has some different meaning. Okay, probability is different, uncertainty is different, because in probability you have a chance, like say 60% probability. That means an event to occur, so either equal to or exceeded, so that is a chance. But whereas in case of fuzzy, it is based upon a membership grade, right? So wherever the variable that comes under uncertain or a fuzziness you find, so you can fuzzify it and use any technique. Yeah, one more question is, what will be inputs and outputs for different fuzzy GA, and how it can be applied using different tools available in open source in current situation? So whether the input and output parameters are fuzzy or not, that we have to first of all identify. That is what we should have a data, and whether that data is, certain or uncertain. So that is to be decided. So that is what I told you. First of all, I should be I should understand what is fuzzy. Then I can say that, yeah, this data is very crisp, or this data is fuzzy. So if data is fuzzy, then definitely you can go with the fuzzy. Whether genetic algorithm is required or not, that entirely depends upon your problem formulation. That is, if it is a multimodal problem, if it is a convex problem, that means the complex. Okay. So then definitely one should go for the fuzzy, genetic algorithm with the help of these fuzzy parameters. And in open source, in the current situation, or in the open source situation, if you see, of course, the one is with linear programming and fuzzy linear programming, but that Lingo is not a open source. Okay, some paid version it should be there. Then what remains is you can go with the Python programming. In Python, so many genetic algorithm codes are available. The pseudo codes are available, so that you can use it at the beginning, and you can go ahead with the Python, where you can club this hybridization of fuzzy GA, or maybe ANN also you can include, and so many things can be done. More than 3 by 3 matrix, nothing is like that. It is a real problem. Whatever matrix formulation is there, you have to go with it. But now in this, in the present situation, those who are very new to the research, I appeal that you should go with this Python also. Python, it's an open source, and I find so much of information and codes, functions in Python. So those who are interested, first of all, you learn Python, and you can go, you can use it for different formulations. One of my student is working with Python, and a single reservoir operation problem, he has completed it. Multi-reservoir also, I think he is on the verge of completion. And maybe if time permits, he will use this fuzziness in the multi-reservoir, and that too with the help of the Python. So in coming days, his work will also be finished. And he's there in this FDP also, Pushpak.
Yes, sir.
Multi-reservoir is over. Have you got the correct results?
I got the results, and now I'm comparing it with the single reservoirs.
Okay. Yeah, those who are researchers, research scholars, and PG students, actually a lot many things are there to learn and to implement. Only you should sit, you should have time to sit, and a small help if you take from the seniors and through some FDPs, you can go ahead and you can contribute a lot. Yeah, I hope the questions are over in chat box. And time is also over. So we'll stop here, and at 1 o'clock, your next session, it will start. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next session would be at 1 p.m. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.